Hey all, 118 Set Shadow here. We just had the latest episode from the DivineZ Deluxe series, and now we know who the finalists are going to be for the last round of the Deluxe. And I feel like a lot of people predicted this, especially if you were watching the opening a lot more. But the final showdown is going to be Resza versus Liel Amorda. So, Resza was able to overcome Drajuld in the last episode, and so we'll be talking a bit about Resza Vita right now, which has been slowly seeing an increase in value over time. The triple rare is now at a base of $20 with 9 listings and a market price around 13 right now, while the silver rare is currently at $25 with 5 listings and a market price closer to 29. If you want the double frame rare, that's currently around $57, a little higher than the market price of about 54. The secret rare is in a league of its own right now. The market price is currently 300 for this card, but there's only one listing available for 700. So if you're really looking to bling this out, right now you don't have a lot of options. On the same topic of bling, the frame rare for Toys Are Made for Children, the key component of the Heartluru deck, has 9 listings on the market right now and is around $18 to pick up. Market price is currently around 17, and it's been going up from a bit of a dip that happened around the end of August. This card's market price used to be in the 20s, and now it's making its way back upward. For its sales, the card had been selling in the 20s a few times, even in the 30s to some degree, but a lot of the listings have been moving for around 15, and now they're slowly creeping up to 18. And we have a lot of $18 listings here that move into 20, and there's only one page worth with all listings available, only having one copy. Heartluru is likely to be a popular contender for the BCS tournament circuit right now, so for blinging this out, this card is likely to maintain or possibly go higher. Dorine the Thruster. While this card had a moment of hype some time back because of a manga reveal of Amon, Dorine the Thruster's hype has long dropped off since then, but even with that considered, the price is still significantly higher post-hype. The triple rare is still around a $4 card at the lowest, with a market price just over $3. This used to be closer to $1, $2, so it's still a pickup there. No double frame rares on the market, with a market price of around 31, and the silver rare has 5 listings starting from around $14.50, and the market price there is just over 7. Spiritual King of Aquatics, Idiospharo, the blue overtrigger. I had been talking about how this card is now just kind of second best in comparison to Volnaught, the red overtrigger, but even as I say that, the card is still popular. This card was originally printed in Festival Booster 2023, then it got reprinted in DivineZ 1 and then DivineZ 7. And despite these reprints, this card is still a double-digit value overtrigger. The highest listing is $17 for the original, and the market price is $14, highest in terms of the base listings, of course. The DivineZ 1 version is $16 at the lowest, while the DivineZ 7 version is almost $14. There's also the winter promo from BSF 2024, which has no listings on the market right now. Loving Pink Friends set is currently around $35 for its triple rare, and the market price is around the same. The silver rare is currently at $45 with 10 listings on the market and a market price of around $51. The double frame rare, on the other hand, is still very high up there if you want to pick it up. It's almost $200 at its lowest, but it has a market price around $137. It is a Chris Rain support, which also just happens to be a really good generic, and you still see it in some other decks, so it'll overall likely maintain until we can finally see a reprint of this card. But it's also from DivineZ 2, so until that happens, this card doesn't have as many prints as most others. Fairy of Flower Nectar Core Tier, which saw a hype buyout before on certain occasions for futuristic play or the Leonore Mask deck. This card is now back is just kind of meh again, but it's still a DivineZ 2 order cycler, so it's still maintaining some decent value in comparison to most other generics. It's around $11 to pick up the double rare right now, and the silver rare is currently at 13 at the lowest with 8 listings, while the frame rare is currently around $13 as well with 13 listings. And it's also the only one with a market price underneath $10. Sea Rumble Brave Shooter, the energy cycler from DivineZ 1 for Stoicheia, has a base of around $21 right now and 16 listings on the market. While its market price has been declining over the last several months, it's now around $20. With a stock of 16 listings, there is more interest in this card these days. We've mostly been seeing a lot of sales over the last week that are hitting $19 to $21, so it's pretty consistently moving at that rate. And there are a number of copies that are around $22 right now, not as many that are left around the $20 mark. In fact, they move up to about $21 right now. Another old staple that fell from grace following Brainwash Swirler is now Inlet Pulse Dragon, which originally came out of the same set 4. That card now has a base price of $6 with 22 listings on the market and a market price of around $11, while the reprint from set 9 is currently around $14.50. The market price is just a little lower. The SP of this card is currently $28 and a market price around the same rate. And as for the winter promo that you got from the BCS of 2022, there's one listing available for $500, which this card was definitely good back then, and it continued to see a lot of play even through some of Magnolia's earlier times. But as time passed and without Flagberg getting any really significant support, this card has just fallen off. And in fact, I'm curious if that $6 one... Yes, it is. When we take a look at it, there are 2 listings on here for $6, and one of them is a whole playset. Then we've got 7 to 10, and then it just moves up from there. But it seems like we have a good amount of lower listings to pick up. So if you're still confident that Flagberg will get somewhere, $6 is actually not bad for this card, which is still a generic irregardless. Spatless Cleaner Regalia, which is from DivineZ 9 and is a new generic for Brandt Gate. It's effectively Combined Rusher for the back row, and it can intercept from the back row, so it basically is Combined Rusher outside of only getting a 5k bonus rather than a 10k bonus, and for boosting rather than attacking. But there are lots of copies of this one on the market with 41 listings overall and a price of around $1 now. The market price has dropped off pretty significantly as there aren't too many decks that play this card anyway. With a lot of Brandt Gate decks moving away from actually playing set orders, on a constant basis, this card is not seeing as much play as it used to. You might find playability in decks like Eva or Blitz or Rotovisor, but in decks like Impaldio or Prison, this card doesn't have a lot of value. There are lots of copies underneath $1 right now, so if you do want to pick some up, it's not technically a cleaning sisters card, I suppose, but it still fits in with the theme, which came from set 10. Desolate Flare Dragon is a Sybil support card and a triple rare from DivineZ 9, where Sybil is overall just a pretty cheap deck to build right now, and this is one of its best support cards. It's under $1 with a market price of 86 cents. The silver rare is currently around $3, and the double frame rare is $10 at its lowest. So if you're trying to build Sybil, even if you're trying to bling it out, you can do it on the cheap right now. It would be kind of surprising for this deck not to eventually get some new support to really give it some value, but we'll just have to see what happens. Protection Twincast. With the reprint that came out of the Shikiote deck, where is it sitting now? The new print, the common print from the deck, is currently $8 with a market price just a little higher than that. And then you have the original from DivineZ 3 and the foil TDR that comes from the Shikiote deck as well. Those are priced at a base of $14 and $21 respectively, both of which are underneath market prices of around $30 or higher. So, with the number of copies increasing thanks to this deck set, this card has become a whole lot more accessible and is still one of the more splashable Regulus pieces that you can play right now. The Zero Tendo critical trigger from the Zero Tendo starter deck has been dropping in price and is now at a base of around $31. Though the market price has technically increased over time, when it comes to its sales, right now we're looking at a high sale of $50, which happened earlier in the month, around the time of the release. Since then, we have seen a few $40 sales, but now we've been seeing a whole lot more of them move for about $31 to $32. So it's been on the decline, and there are a good amount of copies for around 31 plus. Keep in mind that the Zero Tendo trigger and the Shikiote triggers are not nation restricted, so you can play them in any deck that you like. Go Ahead Mikani was a card that I kept on touting in terms of its overall value, given that it did get reprinted in Booster 2025, but despite that, given that this card is still a very good generic for 2 nations, it's likely to stay a $1 to $2 card at the very least. And in fact, the 2025 reprint is the most expensive in terms of the base listings right now at almost $3. The original from set 8 and the Triple Drive reprint are both underneath $2 for the lowest listings, but have higher market prices closer to $7 and $10. And as for the double frame rare, none of them have sold in a while, and the lowest listing there is almost 100. And that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.